Hi there. You know those winds we had a couple of weeks ago? Well, the trees and branches all over the roads and bits and pieces? Well, do you know, at that time, we woke up 6 o'clock one morning to the sound of a big explosion in our back garden. And in the garden, we have a glass-topped table. Well, not anymore. The wind picked this table up and threw it against the bay window at the back of the house. Crash! What a mess. And that reminded me of Jesus turning tables over in the courtyards in Jerusalem. The story reads like this. When it was almost time for the Jewish Passover, Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple courts he found people selling cattle, sheep and doves, and others sitting at tables exchanging money. So he made a whip out of cords and drove them all from the temple courts, both sheep and cattle. He scattered the coins of the money changers and turned tables over. To those who sold the doves, he said, "Get these out of here. Stop turning my Father's house into a market." Well, what made Jesus angry? This was Passover, the time when the people came to Jerusalem and offered burnt offerings. In the law, God said that the animals for the sacrifice had to be perfect. So the temple authorities insisted on the worshippers using only animals that they had bred, and they hiked up their prices. And you had to use the temple currency, and the money changers hiked up their exchange rates. They were lining their pockets with the proceeds. They turned an act of worship into exploiting people for their own gain. This made Jesus angry. Well, is it okay to be angry? Well, injustice, exploiting people, bullying, unfairness. Yeah, I think so. If we're angry for self-centered and selfish reasons, well, maybe we need to think again. There's this line in the song. It goes, break my heart for what break yours, everything I am for your kingdom cause. And it speaks of, us reacting to things that are on God's heart that upset him and anger him. So yeah, it's okay. It's more than okay to get fired up with the things that incense God, and that spurs you into action. Well, I think there's a prophetic edge on this encounter as well. Just reading on in that version from John chapter 2. The Jews asked, "What signs can you show us to prove your authority to do all this?" And Jesus replied, "Destroy this temple, and I will raise it again in 3 days." Well, maybe what's been going on here in the temple courtyard illustrates how mankind has corrupted this world over time. Jesus was referring to himself as the temple, not the physical building that they are at. He's predicting his execution on the coming Friday, the crucifixion, and his resurrection on the coming Sunday, 3 days later. This overturns the tables. It drives out injustice and corruption that we've made this world become. It satisfies God's righteous anger at what we've made this world to be and what we've made of ourselves. It ushers in the way of love and forgiveness, giving us a direct, pure access to God through Jesus' sacrifice. Maybe this Easter time is a time for you to explore its origins and the events leading up to Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection, and examine if there are things in our lives that would stir God into righteous anger. To think about accepting Jesus' sacrifice on our behalf and how our life might change by living for Jesus. God bless. Thanks for listening.